Hello, everybody, on this Saturday morning. Hope you're all very well indeed. Hope you've all had a nice week so far, and obviously no Premier League football this weekend yet again because we got the international break. I think we'd rather not talk about the shambles the other day, but anyway, we've got a lot more pressing issues to talk about. But before we get into that, if you do like what you see, please don't forget to smash a like. It does help the channel up the search, and it means new viewers find it more easily, and it is free to do so. So please do give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come in at the subscribe, come be part of this great community, also free to do. And it's also the bell notification. That tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record or any upcoming shows. You can become a member. It's 99p a month. You can do that clicking the join button. And if you want to make a donation, do that in chat, clicking on the dollar sign, all money reinvested into the channel. Yes, so, as we have seen this week, Manchester City, of course, have won their case on the APTs. Also thrown into that, these interest-free loans that owners have put into their clubs. City are also saying, well, why aren't they paying interest? Absolutely, why aren't they paying interest? That's a fiddle. But anyway, let's look at the story so far and why we want Masters out as well. So, obviously, we've seen this leaked email come out the other day. And look, we know the Premier League were cooking something up because, they clearly stated as soon as our takeover was done, they wanted a change in the rulings. Now that stinks. That stinks in my eyes. It's absolutely disgraceful, and it's not just the fact it's disgraceful, but it's the fact it's the word, the wording in it as well, which is terrible. Because on the 12th of October, he emailed the Premier League on behalf of his club and 10 other clubs in the league. They wanted a vote in 5 days' time, sooner if permitted, to introduce short-term ban on any related party transactions of any kind. This rule should have the widest possible definition of related party, perhaps using the takeover code definitions, when applied to companies like those in the Gulf region. Now, when you put it as the Gulf region, you are straight away saying not only Newcastle, but also Manchester City. Now, I find something wrong with that straight away. And as the Premier League are supposed to be so diverse and, don't accept racism at any point whatsoever, then I'm sorry, saying Gulf region, that's pointing out one particular part. So what that is, you could either say it's xenophobia or you could say it is racism. I think that's racism. Shame on the Premier League. No room for racism. I think you've got that totally and utterly wrong because you are targeting a specific part of the world. And I don't care what people say. Some people might say that's not racism, but it's a form of racism. They also say the rules covering related party transactions and new cost control measures, together with any sanctions for breaches, should be formulated by the Premier League legal and financial teams with support from a working group of club CEOs who can volunteer. Of course they would. I mean, look, it's shambolic. It's a disgrace. And then we see the part with the witnesses. Obviously, the witnesses for the Premier League. Oh, what a surprise. Man United and Liverpool are straight in there. Of course they are. And West Ham, of course. So when you put together these teams, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, West Ham, Brentford, Bournemouth, Fulham, Wolves, all throw their weight behind the Premier League. Also throw Brighton into that mix as well. So don't you worry, we've got these teams' cards marked now. We know what side they're supporting. And I'll tell you what it is, right? As Newcastle fans, when these teams come to our stadium, when any of them come to stadium, well, in fact, we got Brighton next Saturday. That's the good start. What our fans should do is make it hostile and intimidating as possible. And what I mean by that is the booing, the whistling, every time they get the ball. Make it hostile for them. Make it intimidating for them. Because they will not like that. The Premier League will not like that. But let's not give these teams an easy ride. Let's make sure they know that they're coming into a cauldron and that we're going to cook them, because that's exactly what we're doing. And I hope our fans do give them that. You see it, if you watch matches abroad or you see Champions League games when English teams or any teams go to different countries, you know, take the Turks, for instance. You know, like Man United went there last year. As soon as Man United had the ball, boos and whistles all around the stadium. That's the creating atmosphere we need to do with these teams. Show them how much we are against them. You know, they want to support the Premier League. They're trying to help the cartel out. Well, let's tell them what we think of them. And I think that's a great way forward, because don't give these teams an easy ride. Do not give them an easy ride at St James's Park. Because, you know, this is what we want to see. And I'm sure Man City fans will do the same. I think they've got West Ham. They'll do the same with West Ham. Got to make it a cauldron of noise. Make it uncomfortable for the opposing team. Because they'll be glad when that whistle goes after 90 minutes or 95 minutes or whatever. They'll be glad to get out that stadium. When they're getting off the bus, make it a cauldron of noise for them. You know, they will not like it. But we've got to show stand against these, because these people decided that the Premier League were in the right. Well, they weren't in the right. They're in the wrong. You know, and look, can't dress it up any other way than that. It's an absolute shambles. And then obviously, the Man City Council, Simon Cliff, came out with a statement as well, which he says, the APT rules have been found to be unlawful. So as a matter of competition law and public law, this means that they are now void and not capable of enforcement. This has a very significant consequences for the APTs that have been entered into date and APTs that are still outstanding. So, what he's saying there is, basically, you can have whatever sponsor you want. There's no such law now to say that, oh, by the way, you've got to have it through to make sure it's fair market value. That's bollocks. That's gone. That's out the window. That's finished. Finito, Benito. Now, do we expect our owners to go out and go hammer and tongue getting in sponsors? I'm not sure. Who knows? We could be working on big deals in the background. I think I read an article about 4 or 5 months ago. Seller wanted to be paying more for the shirt sponsor than they're currently paying. But the club told them we couldn't because we're bound by these rules. Well, we're not bound by these rules now. So if Seller want to come in and sponsor our shirts for 60 million quid a season, let them do it. If Noon want to put their sleeve badge up to, say, 20 million a season, let them do it. You know? Yes, a lot of our fans are saying we should go out there, get all these big sponsors in, get our FFP sky high, so we're up there with the big boys. We could easily do that. We could. But I think for a lot of loss of revenue this club has had, I hope our owners are going to take legal action now against the Premier League and sue the pants off them. Absolutely sue the pants off the Premier League. Because at the end of the day, it stinks. And, you know, we've damn right had enough of this. You know, yes, we want to see a club that try. We want to see a team that tries. Okay, we do demand a team that tries. But we have got mega rich owners. We've got the richest owners in world football. Yet they can't flex their muscle. They can't spend their money. Because we are bound by rules. By pathetic rules. Let's be honest. And the thing is, at the end of the day, this club, we want to see this club bring trophies in. This club hasn't won a trophy in a long time. We know that. And we see fans remind us of that online. We know how long it's been. We know 69 was the last time we won a trophy. But it seems since our takeover, there's been a trajectory that keeps stopping us from going forward. Now, I've seen some of our fans saying, well, Well, we keep going on about the rules, but why aren't we doing anything? This is precisely why we haven't been active, because we've been backing Man City in this case, and now Man City have won it. And I hope our owners go out there and, as I say, sue the pants off the Premier League, because they are as corrupt as they bloody well come. Let's be honest. The Premier League, look, it used to be, I'm going to say, used to be probably the best league in the world. Now, it's not the best league in the world. In fact, the Premier League has lost its standing a hell of a lot around Europe now. All these players don't want to come to the Premier League. They'd rather go to Saudi Arabia. Why? Because of the way the Premier League is being dragged through the mud. PSR. Because they know they can't get the wages in this country. Or they can't get the move because, oh, hang on a minute, we can't spend that much money because we may be over budget. So, we'll have a points deduction, so they can't buy that player. So the players go off to Saudi Arabia now. Premier League needs to wake up and wake up quick, because eventually all the top stars will not want to come here. They will say, oh no, I'd rather go to Spain, I'd rather go to Portugal, I'd rather go to France, Germany, or even Saudi Arabia. They will not want to come to the Premier League. So the Premier League need to get their arse out of gear and start doing something about it. Now, we know Richard Masters wants a meeting next week. And look, also we've seen this report as well, that within the ruling it emerged that Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, West Ham gave evidence in favour of the Premier League, along with Brentford, Bournemouth, Fulham and Wolves. It's all in black and white. And this man is a disgrace. Richard Masters. What do we think of Richard Masters? Well, we all know what we think of Masters. The man will bend over for anybody out the red cartel. He will literally bend over for Man U and Liverpool and be effed up the backside, let's be honest. Because he gives in to them. I don't know how many brown envelopes he's probably got stuffed up his backside, because God knows, that may be why he's got the weight gain all of a sudden. But look, the thing is, this man needs to resign or be forced out. He is not fit for purpose in the Premier League. He is a disgrace to the Premier League. I've never liked this man. I find him quite smarmy. He thinks he's better than what he is. Well, he isn't. The Premier League needs cleaned up. And the only way you're going to clean that up is by having a refresh. So you start at the top and work your way down. Get rid. Bring in new staff. Get a new CEO in. That will bring a better vision to the Premier League. But this man, sorry, has to go. Has to resign. Now, with these APTs and that, go back before our takeover, when this fella was in charge of Newcastle United. Yes, a guy we all hate. The only thing we like him for is selling the club. And we thank him for that. That's the only thing we thank him for. We don't thank him for the 2 relegations we suffered in his time, the poor managerial decisions he made, the fact he didn't really finance the club that well. So, yes. But when his branding was all over the stadium, where was Arsenal? Where was Man United? Where was Liverpool? Where was Brentford? Where was West Ham? Where was Fulham? Where was Brighton? Where are they all? Did they all come out and say, oh, by the way, you can't do that because it's against the rules, the APTs and all this? No, nothing said. Why was nothing said? Because we weren't a threat. Because they knew he wasn't putting the money at the club, so they weren't bothered. Like Leicester, they'd come out during our takeover and said, oh, because they were one of the clubs that were shouting about these APTs need to come in. They have short memories. Their stadium, the King Power. Oh, what's King Power? Oh yeah, sorry, that's the owner's company. On the shirts, Thailand smiles with you. Yeah, That's a government sponsor to get people to go and visit Thailand. But that's okay. That's fair enough. You can have that, can you? But as soon as we want something put on, oh no, it's got to be fair market value. Bollocks. Because that is what it is now, Masters. It is bollocks, and you know it. And now he's actually admitted that Man City won that case and that these rules will take time to change. Yes, they will, Masters. They will take time, because I'm telling you now, yes, it takes 14 clubs to vote it through. And I just hope everything this man tries to push through, I hope it gets rejected. Because the only people that should be rejected should be Masters. He should be gone. And it's about time Masters did go. Because we've had enough of him. And look, came across this. Prince Charles unveiling his new work of art. Have a look at this, guys. Excellent. Well done. That was from a Man City fan. And I tell you what it is. They're not wrong. Corruption is high in the Premier League. Now, let's cast our minds back to when we played Tottenham Hotspur at St James's Park. We beat them 2-1. And then I think it was the Man U game afterwards. And then Gary Neville had his say on things like PSR. Let's just wind back and listen to what Gary Neville said.
A couple of things here. I think it's the most bizarre transfer window, and I think PSR now is starting to be applied by the Premier League, and that's why we're seeing a lot of clubs, including Manchester United, having to sort of, if you like, navigate around selling players that maybe they wouldn't want to. PSR was never designed so that players had to sell the best academy players, and that's what we're seeing. So it's something needs to change dramatically in this next 12 months in terms of the rules. Also, Newcastle, I think, they should be able to invest in the squad, and they should, again, PSR needs changes so that there is owner investment allowed, so that Newcastle can get to the level of Manchester City and other clubs. We can't just keep a thumb on clubs' heads and say you're not going to invest. Now, what we have to do is do it with security and sustainability in mind. That means the owner funding might have to go in up front, but we can't keep Newcastle's back, and we're holding them back at this moment in time.
Well said, Gary Neville. Well said, mate. Because at the end of the day, Gary Neville is exactly right what he's saying. He is saying that PSR was not designed to sell your best academy players. Now, we sold Elliot Anderson, who was an academy player, being player of the month at Forest. You know? Okay, maybe he might not have got a lot of minutes with us, but he would have come through as, you know, as probably a cracking player eventually. Yankubo Minty, bought him for 5 million, loaned him to Feyenoord, brought him back, never got to see anything in Newcastle United, never got to train with us or nothing. Sold to Brighton, just to satisfy the PSR. And wasn't it peculiar that after the PSR deadline, Man United then decided to stump up the money and pay for Ashworth? Because they were saying if we were going to fail PSR, that is what they wanted. They wanted us to fail PSR, so we got a points deduction. Well, it didn't work. Yes, we sold 2 players. We lost 2 gems, I would say. Minty's been doing well for Brighton. And obviously Elliot Anderson's been doing brilliant for Forest as well. And the Forest fans love him. But Gary Neville is right. You can't keep thumbs on teams. PSR has to be changed. It should be in line with inflation. Why isn't it in line with inflation? Because the cartel clubs don't want it to be extended. They want it kept at the 105 million. So that can keep challenging at the top end of the table. Bollocks. That's another thing that needs sorting out. You know? And look, there's no chance of our club going under or going bankrupt. Because our owners have got endless money. If you've got an ownership, and I'm not just talking about us in general, I'm talking about anybody. If you've got an ownership that's got plenty of money and there's no fear of that club going down or under, why can't they spend? Why can't PSR be totally reset when a new ownership comes in? Why can't you start from scratch again? You know, this is what I'm saying. It's just, it's a joke. The Premier League is a joke. And I'm afraid to say the Premier League is losing its standing as one of the top leagues in the world. Because time and time again, things are happening. Now, I said this a couple of months ago, with the way this PSR business is, that I was starting to lose interest in football. But I'm not the only one who was saying that. There was quite a few people saying that. It needs fixing, but the Premier League needs fixing at the top, and it needs to start as soon as possible. Masters, you need to go, because, listen, pal, your time is up. Your lease has expired. And this is nature's way of saying, get your ass down the road and don't fucking come back. Because you have to go, pal. It's your time to go. And the sooner you go, the better everybody will be. Because I hope we bring in a CEO that will actually change things and make things for the better and make it fairer. Because do you see this as a fair league? I don't. This league is a shambles. It's an absolute shambles created by Richard Masters, the puppet master. Because he's the puppet for Liverpool, for Man United, for Arsenal. Now, I tell you what, Everton and Forest went against the Premier League because they've had enough. We saw Forest getting a fine yesterday because they called Stuart Atwell a Luton fan. You know, Richard Masters comes out and says, oh, by the way, Everton and Nottingham Forest are small clubs. Small clubs? No, they're not. Masters clearly doesn't do his homework or doesn't look back in his history. Because if he looks back in his history, you'll see Nottingham Forest were European Cup winners twice, which is now the Champions League. Yes, Forest won that twice. So how can you say Forest are a small club? They've won FA Cups. They've won League Cups. When they had Clough as manager. So how can you call them a small club? Everton have won cups. They're not a small club. So totally disregarding two teams that are in the Premier League as small clubs is a disgrace. This is why this man has to go. And I beg everybody who is on social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or whatever it is, post a picture, put Masters out, tag the Premier League in it, and get it trending. Because the more people that put out their Masters out, the pressure may just tell and he may go. Who knows? But that man has to go. Because, as we say, the man is corrupt. And that is the thing of this video. Masters has to go. He's a liar. He's a cheat. And I don't trust the man as far as I could throw him. And as I said, when all these clubs that were back in the Premier League come to visit St James's Park, let's make sure they get a rough ride. Let's make sure they find it intimidating, hostile. That they've come there and thinking, oh, I can't wait to get out of this stadium because I can't be dealing with this. Let's make it hostile for them because we have to. Anyway, coming to the end of this show. This is what my rant was all about. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have enjoyed it, then please don't forget to smash the like. It does help the channel to search. So please do that. And also, if you are brand new to the channel, come in to subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps the channel grow, and the bell notification. That tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. Coming up on the channel, as I say, there's nothing on in Premier League football or anything at the moment. But tomorrow, the Women's Derby. Yes, Sunderland versus Newcastle in the Championship. I'm sure a lot of fans will take to that. That is actually live on YouTube on the Women's Championship channel. So go and check that out. Go and bookmark it, ready for tomorrow. I'm sure that's probably going to smash YouTube records tomorrow because that is a massive, massive game. Now, as I say, there's no games this weekend Newcastle-wise, so I'm off to a game this afternoon to go and watch. So I'll do a vlog from there. I'm not saying where I'm going yet. So you'll have to tune in to find out where I've been or where I've gone to. But I'm going to go and take in a game this afternoon, 3 p.m. kickoff. You know, I was going to go to AFC Wimbledon today, believe it or not, because they had a few tickets spare. But because some trains have been cancelled, I'm not taking the risk now. So, you know, because it's their first game back, I think, at the stadium since they had that sinkhole. And they take on Mike Williamson's Carlisle United. So anyway, guys and girls, thank you for watching this show. Normally, I do a cock of the week as well before I go. And look, as we all know, there is only one cock of the week for this. And, you know, that is this man. So yes, so he is definitely cock of the week. But anyway, guys, remember, the future's bright. The future is definitely black and white. And until next time, enjoy your Saturday, whatever you're doing. And watch this video at your own free will. And I hope you have enjoyed it. And don't forget to smash the like and the subscribe. But until then, I will see you all later. How are the lads and how are the lasses tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.